Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is Jones Report. It's for the 12th of March, and well, we continued our slow descent. It was again back and forth, but still within the continuation. We do see some dip here in the DSC orange, so it's a little ways more to go before there's any real relief within it. But we also got an MBI white pickup starting again, so potentially that would push another move back to the zero if magenta is unable to hold. It's still over yellow at this particular stage, so it's enough to give periodic moves. But you can see this is doldrums here with even midterm buyers is not participating at all. We haven't even dipped below the red line within this drop, so there's even more potential within that. But you're right at that point here with the dip below 7.5 on the orange that you could see a little bit of pop out of it. We're seeing also short-term buyers potentially could be enough to stabilize, try and push back up towards 23%. We'll see if they're able to put that together. You can see the NASDAQ even weaker, but still pretty much proportional now from a reading standpoint. They're looking pretty identical. Shakeout, all of it. It's all looking pretty congruous. This has all been pretty orderly distribution. Well within line. It was, of course, fun to watch the whole market behavior during the premier from Ontario wanted to slap tariff on electricity going into parts of North America, and immediately Trump just said, "Fine, we're just going to double all of the tariffs that we've added and wipe out your auto industry." And amazingly, they changed their mind within just a few hours, and I mean that literally happened within the market day. That was wild. Treasuries, nothing happening here. This is just you're going to be able to park your money in between, but at the end of the day, you're focused to either keep your money on the sidelines or move back into securities on the dip. But buying the falling knife, not always a good idea. At least we don't have a reading to buy yet. From an oil standpoint, not a whole lot of help here. It's just sort of stuck in a malaise. And of course, I think people are just going to be waiting for more numbers to see if there's a trend developing in any way, shape, or form that suggests either continued economic growth, though I think that you're probably going to see that be quite sporadic now as they continue to shed government workers, and that it's going to really tweak the whole GDP thing, because of course they've been using government spending as a form of GDP, which was always nonsense, still is. The Euro still super excited by all this. They're just thrilled to death. They think that the U.S. is going to implode, and that's somehow going to help them do what? Spend an extra $1 trillion on buying weapons, and that though the Ukraine situation looks to be imploding even faster. They've lost nearly all the Suja, the Kherson incursion, so they're getting wiped out of all Russian territory. So I don't know what they're going to be negotiating for. Putin's going to get anything he wants. What alternative do they have? None. Never did. And from a gold standpoint, again, it's your safe haven at this particular point, even beyond crypto and that, which still just trying to bounce back from its weakness because they were expecting so much more, so much more from Trump as far as what he was going to do. The best we got down to was mid-fill of this last positive extreme here from early November. It's not over yet. They're still at a reasonably decent, with the magenta still over yellow, but it's not a whole lot of oomph to get it over. You don't have any reset here of the steel below cyan, so you're just sort of stuck in a continued blah. Worse for ETH. Not even worth mentioning at that particular point. Here's what it looked like intraday. So things started off fairly rosy, and then the whole spat with the tariff thing came in, and then sure enough, we ended up with MBI white leads, and that brought us back to the zero. Spiked again when we got up to the 38%, and boom, right back to the zero as expected. We're seeing that right now when it popped up here, so that was at least a move down to the 50% since we were over it. And the secondary move that we're seeing right now would call for a move back towards the zero, but you have magenta leading at this particular stage. So if that's able to hold on, There might be enough to salvage it, but otherwise it should continue to fade back towards that zero unless there's some kind of collapse. The biggest bonus for it at this point on the 50K is the rising gold. Um, might be enough to keep it going, but it's just a matter of waiting for the magenta to turn back down to the magenta, and you would expect that to pivot lower. So we'll see how it plays out the rest of the pre-market morning. When you look at it from an intraday standpoint, the early morning was okay. We had the brief open, popped up, and then selling all through the whole wildness. And then when Canada caved, shot back up. They filled out most of the positive extremes that came in through there, filled those back, and then coming across. It's been modest here in the European session. Not a whole lot of activity. Pretty benign. Nice little pop here at the end, but it's just filling back now. So it's all clean action. It's just a lot of range, and that's perfect. What we expected to start this month, it was pretty obvious that's where it was going to go because there were a lot of incorrectly positioned people, and that pretty much got exacerbated, and this is what we get from it. But things are going to start balancing out soon, and then we'll start to get a much better clarity of the direction. But this was, also a tacit admission from Trump about the reality that it's going to take a little bit longer for things to stabilize, that shifting from government to private sector, it takes time. So no worries. As always, anything relevant, open to the Skype chat for you. Have a good one. Trade well.